If I look hungover, it's because I am. It is December 31st, and we decided to go out last night instead of tonight, so today we're just resting. But I wanted to show you guys my end of the year ritual. It's not really a ritual yet because I've only done it once, and that was last year. I'm also using my DJI Osmo Pocket. I finally got an SD card for it. Anyway, last year, my best friend and I, we went to a cafe and we did like the first part of the ritual, which is basically writing down everything we wanted to release from the previous year. And then we also wrote down what we were manifesting for the coming year, so for 2025. And basically, after we were done, we tore it up and threw it in the trash. So that's like kind of the release. I'm going to see if I can burn it. I usually burn stuff to release, but obviously, when you're in a public place, I'm not just going to take out a lighter and just. Okay. So I have my notebook and I will start writing. And to start, you need a blank page. This is me on February 6th. When I originally filmed this, I said this was a New Year's ritual, and traditionally New Year is on January 1st. And I just want to preface this again because I do say this later in the video, but you can literally do this any time of the year. And this is just my way of setting up goals, writing down what I'm manifesting, really getting clear on what I'm bringing for this upcoming like 365 to like 700 days. And cyclically speaking, like the actual start of the year is Spring Equinox, because that's when things are blooming and coming to life, as opposed to January 1st, where we're literally in the dead of winter and we're just supposed to be like sleeping or whatever, relaxing. Anyway, that's all I wanted to say. Enjoy the video. I'm done. One thing I forgot to mention is that last year, me and my best friend actually scribbled on top of it. I don't know if I want to do that this year because I'm going to burn it. I'm in my hoodie. I have my lighter and tongs. Don't judge me. I usually go outside on my deck, but it's raining, so I'm going to go into our little foyer downstairs. I'm hoping that my neighbor is not going to just come by. Rip this off. And then I also took a picture of it so I can look at it next year. Okay. Let's go. I'm in my foyer. I don't really know how to record this, so I'm just going to sit on the floor and start burning. Ugh. Before I start, I like saying a little affirmation in my head. I know this sounds and looks pretty wild, but I like doing this shit. Okay. Okay, first part's done. I'm gonna clean this up. Now that's all done, and I just want to mention that if you're doing this, it doesn't have to be right at the end of the year. I think for me, I just like that it's on December 31st. It can literally be at any time, also because I'm going to be posting this video like mid to late January. Time isn't real. Literally do the release whenever you want. You can release whenever. If you're super spiritual, you can look into like the phases of the moon and everything. Now moving forward, so after that, I would write down everything that I'm manifesting, all my goals for the rest of the year. And then I make a vision board, which I don't know if I'm doing that with my best friend or if I'm doing it by myself, just because we did it last year together, but this year our schedules are pretty hectic. So we'll see. Another thing that I wanted to mention, which is like another ritual I do sometimes, whenever I do a release or maybe I have a bad day, I take a shower, and not just because like it calms me down, but basically in the shower, like while I'm scrubbing, I literally visualize like all the negative energy, the bad vibes, blah blah, whatever happened that day or whatever I'm releasing as gunk or tar or whatever the fuck I'm visualizing, like literally just falling off my body as I'm scrubbing. Then after that, it just feels so refreshing, or like, I don't know, like every time I do it, I just feel a lot lighter. And even if you're not like spiritual or into any of this stuff, I just try it once. It doesn't hurt to try. And let me know how it goes. Janice and I are at Stone, which is a Korean coffee shop in San Francisco. We just got our food, we're waiting on our coffee, and we're gonna finish our New Year's ritual that we weren't able to finish or start together, that is. I started mine end of last year, and today we're just gonna write down what we're manifesting for this year. So like all our desires in each category. So relationships, career, finance, blah, blah. I think for me, I'm actually gonna focus on physical health, relationships, and career. Janice got back from bathroom.
They were taking a long time, so I actually didn't use the bathroom yet. Hey, and now it's immortalized forever.
Nice.
So I wanted to do the things I am focusing on the most, relationships, physical health, and career, because that's the things I really want to focus on.
Yeah.
I was looking at last year's, and the main things I wanted to focus on was finance, and I mainly got finance done, and I noticed some of the things I wanted to manifest, or I'm manifesting from last year, are happening now.
I see.
And then one thing that the course I'm taking, she says, like, people want to do everything in a year, but it was like sometimes it's going to take 2.
Yeah.
I was looking at my list from last year. Nothing really changed. Like, I think now I'm focusing on stuff that I probably should have taken importance last year.
Yeah.
But now I'm focusing, because last year there's like physical therapy and health. And now I'm like, okay, I really want to focus on physical health this year.
Try to just really narrow down on the things that are the most, what you want to accomplish the most.
So what excites you the most?
Yeah.
In the course, she says your subconscious mind. You know how I said before, like that's what controls reality.
Yeah.
It doesn't like being overwhelmed. So when you have like your subconscious mind likes simplicity and specificity. It doesn't have to be overly specific, but like what I said, if you're able to focus on like 3, maybe 4, maybe 2,
Yeah.
it helps narrow it down a lot. And what I said earlier, like we're able to, how do I word it? Like when you accomplish the 3 things, the 4 things that you want to accomplish, that typically does a domino with the rest of your goals. So that's why it's like the things that excite you the most, like for you, it would be friendships and relationships. And pick a goal out of the goals to really hone in on, and naturally everything else will follow.
So it's been 2 weeks since I wrote down everything I'm manifesting, and my next step would be creating a vision board. And I'm pretty superstitious and spiritual, as you may know from this video. And for me, I'm just not going to show you my vision board for this year, just because like I like keeping it private, and truthfully, I don't want outside people's energies going into that. So I'm going to show you last year's vision board. I typically create a digital board, so using Procreate or Canva, but unfortunately I deleted the file off my Procreate, so I'm just going to be showing you a screenshot. I just prefer using a digital board because I'm on my phone a lot, and also it doesn't take me as long as I would with like physical media. I put 3 things on my vision board, and the first thing are things I'm manifesting, of course, and the second one are are basically photos of the process of manifesting or getting those things. So, for example, say you want to get really toned, an example of what you could put on your vision board are like what you're going to eat, photos of working with a trainer, and like possibly like a workout regimen. The third thing I put on my vision board are things I already manifested. So, when I started living on my own, I really wanted a cat, and now I have three. And so I have Liam on my vision board. Another thing or another example is about 2 years ago when I started my whole spiritual journey. I bought a course about manifestation. It's about 5 to 6 months, and I completely lagged on it. And my goal last year was to finish it, and I did. And I put the certificate on my vision board as well. I finished that actually closer to the end of 2024, but you get my point. But basically, this helps train your brain, letting it know that everything on your vision board is possible, and you are quite literally in the process of getting those things. And to start, I basically make a Pinterest board and I save all the photos I like what it showed or represented, or I wanted to do like that exact same thing, or the words just resonate with me. I'll show you my vision board from last year on Pinterest. And basically, my biggest focus last year was finances, and you could see all the money quotes, all the money photos, all the finance photos I have. And I can confidently say that my finance life has improved. It's definitely not where I want it to be yet, but I am grateful for all the lessons I've learned. One thing for me is like I will literally collect anything that I think resonates with me. And for my board specifically, I did going over my finances, a bunch of quotes, and nervous system healing. So for me, it was more of somatic safety, where I'm like very self-aware of what I'm doing with my finances, but I was still feeling triggered all the time. So it was a lot of nervous system regulation. Other things I focused on were my career, or specifically stepping outside of my comfort zone with career. Just because I did start coaching. I don't know how to say this without sounding cheesy, but I learned how to like tap into gratitude. I hate saying that. It sounds so cheesy. It's so cliche. For me, I've noticed I don't want to take things for granted anymore. And as a society, I really think we do. So a lot of my vision board or the photos I've saved in general, they're very like self-love or learning how to be present with myself, my friends, my partner, etc. You can also see that there are some travel photos. I didn't do any international travel last year, but I did go to the beach a lot. Anyway, so I gather all the images that just really speak to me, that I really like. I have a tendency to just save a bunch of photos anyway, but after getting all the quotes, all the photos, I literally just collage them. Sometimes I draw, sometimes I add my own quotes. This is why I like alternate between using Procreate and Canva. I also want to mention that some of the things I included on my vision board last year are now happening this year into 2026. I think it's important for people to understand that sometimes it'll take more than a year and sometimes it'll take 3 months. You just have to keep going. And like sometimes priorities change, and that's okay too, because when I looked at some of the stuff I wrote down last year, I changed my mind. It wasn't a priority anymore. And that's okay. In conclusion, this is everything I've done for, I guess, I'll call it my annual reset ritual. Number one, I wrote down everything I'm releasing from the previous year, and this could range from like toxic habits or to friends you no longer vibe with. Number two is to rip or burn that shit up. 3 is to write down everything you're manifesting, your goals, desires, etc. And if you want, you can then narrow it down to 3 to 4 topics that you're really excited about. And the second to last thing is to make a vision board. And the last thing is I do at least one micro action that would help me get to this goal every day. And this could be meditating, stretching, organizing content, whatever a micro action is for me for my goals. But this could be, say, going back to my example of wanting to be fit. You don't need to go to the gym for 2 hours on your first day. A micro action could literally just be choosing to eat fruit rather than Cheetos, or maybe just planning your meal or scheduling your week for like the coming days ahead. Those are all micro actions. I'm basically taking small daily actions to help develop into the identity of the version of me who already accomplished these things. And in order to do that, I have to do something different. And if you want different results, you need to do different things. Thank you.